What up, players? WarBossTim up in this mud. Today we'll be going over how to paint Imperial Fist Space Marine. This one just happens to be a biker I'm using at the moment for this tutorial, and we just got to the point where we got all the base coats done, and we're going to start. We'll get to the point where we're going to start highlighting him up and doing the weathering effects on him. So please stay tuned to find out how we get them to this point. Down below here you'll see some of the paints I used and will be using, but I'll let you know what they are during the tutorial. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Okay, so here we go. This is the Space Marine I'm going to be using, and there I try to show you I've already primed him in Army Painter Demonic Yellow. You're going to have to forgive me a bit. I'm kind of not used to doing some of this live painting. So anyway, first we're going to get started off with Chaos Black. And again, I kind of, when I first did this first round, I set my paintbrush a little too far away from not my paintbrush, my model and my camera up a little too far away from myself, so I'm kind of holding my hands out farther than I normally would be, so I'm super shaky, not normally that shaky, and a little bit sloppy, but it's the base coat, so it's okay, so that you'll see that later on. But anyway, just getting it set up on my wet palette, and I'm doing the little kind of mouth pieces on the face, and the little vent, I guess, in the helmet, which you can kind of see there. One thing I have found out that using a wet palette lately is it's super awesome. I'd highly suggest it. They're really easy to make, and there's a lot of really good tutorials online, and they're really easy to upkeep, and wow, it works a lot better. Multiple layers and thinner paint. So anyway, now I did the little antenna thing on his helmet, and we're doing the vents in the back of his backpack there. Generally, we're just going to get anything that's kind of deep in the model, because I'll be doing kind of the edges and other sides after that. So if we are a little bit messy, which I am here, you'll be able to fix that up later. So the Imperial Fists are, I guess, is a little more difficult to paint, simply because yellow is one of the most trying colors that I've had the experience of painting with. It's hard to get on right, and if you make a mistake, it's kind of hard to cover up. So we'll see how I get on with fixing some of these little discrepancies up that I make, especially with the black. But anyway, it'll be fun. Next, we're doing the kind of flexible parts in the legs. So we'll be doing where they meet at the hips, and there'll be the back of the knee, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess there's some at the elbows, but I end up missing those, so I'll have to go back and do those later. So we're still using black, and the plan is we'll go back over this with another color once we start doing our highlighting, to kind of make it not only black but like a little metallic. There I'm doing the little kind of I don't know if they're pipe things or what they are, the little flexible looking things on the front of his armor, below the skull pattern there, and above his belt. I wish I should do this more at a head-on thing so you can kind of see better what I'm doing, but you know, you live, you learn. Better for the next time, I guess. So taking over this channel from Megatimho has proven to be pretty easy. Um, he hasn't come back from where I stuck him in the woods probably over a week ago now, and none of his family seems to be on to me. So it's been working out rather well. So we'll continue with our painting of our Space Marines, and I hear that there's this January painting challenge coming up, so I should be able to get lots of Space Marines done there. Now I'm kind of moving off screen again, which I'm just getting kind of closer to myself to do some really detailed pieces in and around his body, so please bear with me here. Um, I'm going to be putting him back into the screen here in a minute. There we go. Alright, on to the next color. Just clean my brush off there. It's important to keep your brushes clean, especially your quality ones. I have kind of two classes of brush. The ones I want to keep good and the ones that are kind of junk. Great. So I was trying to show you what color I was using. I'm using Red Gore, which is the old Citadel one. Okay, so it seems like when we were doing the red gore there, my camera went out of focus, so sorry about that. You were going to have to miss that part. But basically, all I did was the emblem on the front there, the skull with the wings, and the skull on the back of his backpack. And I'm going to end up doing his shoulder pads, but we'll come back to that here in a second. Oh, there we are. Just doing the outer rim of his shoulder pads. Basically, this matches the picture I'm working off of a generic Imperial fist model. So, just kind of following a little guide there I found on the internet. So this is some pretty detailed work because I don't want to get too reckless here because, like I said, yellow is not a forgiving color to try to paint around. So sorry about moving them in and out of frame. There we go. I smartened up there. I was trying to find some music to put in the background so it just wouldn't be long pauses of silence, but no such luck. Um, I guess we'll get to that point. If you like these types of videos, or you found this, if you're finding this at all helpful, please let me know. This is obviously new territory for me, so I'd like to know if I'm going to keep it up or not afterwards. I've been noticing a lot of other channels have been invaded by alter egos from the mirror universe, which is pretty awesome. I guess Nicholas was the first one to come over, and I saw the alternate Aussie Orc and the alternate um, Nerdopolis Prime. They're great buddies of mine over in the Mirror universe. It's a little jarring coming here. I think Nicholas kind of said something. It seems like these GW in this universe seems to have a kind of hate relationship with its gamers, as opposed to in our universe where there's a lot of involvement with GW and not only the YouTube community and support and support of independence, but also they seem to just keep putting the price of your guys' miniatures up and up and up. So don't know what that's all about, but it might be a deterrent for staying here because could run out of money quick. This seems to be an expensive hobby over on this side. So now I believe I'm just washing off my paintbrush again to start on the next color, which I believe will be metallic. Yes, so there you go. That's Lead Belcher from the Citadel range if you can't see it. Currently I'm trying to get away from the Citadel paints. Ever since they changed, it just kind of throw me, and I like the eyedropper style better. So um, I do have a couple of the new ones, but a lot of the old ones, and mainly in the next video you'll see me switch to Reaper paints for most of my highlights. So then there again, using the wet palette with the metallics, it's a little bit harder using a wet palette with the metallics. So you see me go back and forth here a couple times. I find them a little more challenging, but obviously still worth it. So kind of no pain, no gain there. So we're going to be painting just some metallics on the backpack, kind of the some of the bits of the lower bits, I guess. So some of the bits there on the bottom. We're going to leave the spotter, the skull, obviously, since we already painted that red, the spotter and the skull, and the, the top kind of vent and two little circles on the end as yellow. But the rest of it we're going to paint in as metallic. It just gives us something to weather later and makes it kind of look like a functional machine rather than some sort of toy he's carrying around on his back. So we apply, trying not to put too much paint on at the same time because you don't want it to seep into all the grooves, and you don't want to mess up any of the blacks you were doing earlier. You can see there I'm using an Army Painter paintbrush. I think it's the detailed one. Anyway, I find these ones very easy to use and grip with the little triangle handles. I know some people hate them, but I like them quite a bit, and they're relatively inexpensive, and they seem to be lasting up pretty good, so I'd suggest them. See, you can see my shadow kind of looming there as I try to get closer without taking it out of frame, but messing up the light. So we're just kind of doing some of the little seams up at the top, trying again not to get on the yellow pieces. All right, so now we have black again. I didn't do in by the back side of the knees, so I just noticed that, so I'm just going back and touching that up, and we'll go back and touch a little bit of the red up, and that'll be it for the base coats. So I hope people enjoyed this. I know it's kind of a little longer at the better part of 20 minutes, but with this one, the other one, hopefully you'll be able to replicate how I paint up the Imperial fists, and you can give me any feedback and comments. Obviously, there's some things I found out myself I got to change with my camera setup, which we'll get to. But if anybody normally does things like this or has any tips and tricks or suggestions, I'd be more than helpful. Down at the bottom, I noticed there's an awful lot of yellow, and I'm not used to that, so I kind of just painted it in around his boot as red as well, just to break it up a bit. Yeah, obviously using red gore again, so it's all the same red. So we only have a few couple base colors here we're using. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little bit of the tutorial, and we'll see you in the next video. Laters, players!